This is the Play No Games podcast. We're the hardest working podcast in Portland, Oregon, man.
Play no
Game. Play
No.
Games. Podcast.
/ show. Oh, you want me to do both?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
/ show.
/ show.
It's really a moment, though.
I like our guests. Our guests have been really taking over the intro over
know,
nowadays.
Our last few guests has been on one.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've been on one, I swear.
Welcome to the Play No Games podcast / show, and we're back here again. And yo, I just want to say thanks for everyone who's been watching. The viewership has been on the super rise, and I appreciate all the things. And if you want to keep sharing the goodness of what we're doing, because we're trying to put everyone on a higher vibration, whether that is in relationships, social issues, or most importantly, improving your self-worth.
Man.
Hey, we're the guys who are doing it. And if you want to follow us, we are at lookhere.fri on Instagram. And if you want to follow us on YouTube, we're Play No Games. And we're also on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. We're there. You can find us
Everywhere. We in your grandma eardrum, too.
Yeah.
You know, tell grandma to put the podcast on. You know what I'm saying? Grandma Mo. It's Sunday morning. Put that on.
And if y'all like us,
Lord, real quick.
and if y'all like us, please donate. $ Hero Rob. Oh, Hero Bob. Cash App. $ Hero Bob. Donate. If you can help us get more capital, we can increase the experience you get with the show.
The Cash App is active.
You already know.
It's very active. With all that being said, before we get to our very first segment, you know what? I think for the first time, I'm not gonna introduce the guest because I think she can do it herself. Because she is
a whole vibe.
Yo.
Some about it.
It's a whole vibe.
Let the people know who's on the show with us today.
Okay. Like, I got many different aliases. But if we're gonna go by the government, it's Yanique. But we also go by Nique and Yanni.
Okay. And welcome to the Play No Games podcast show.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
So, obviously, we know you have, career-related things that we'll kind of talk to you about. But before we get into that, we want to, put you into the group. And I just want to pass it on to my guy over there because he's going to let you know our very first segment.
So we do this intro called Play No Games. Okay. And so it could be positive, negative, informative. It could be anything that you feeling for that moment. And you just say, I don't want to play no games about this. And you just go in about whatever that might be. And we might speak on it. We might let it be. And then we'll get our turn.
You going to come for my neck?
Ooh, maybe.
Okay.
What you play no games about?
My life.
Go ahead, speak on it.
I feel like you need to be very intentional about what you want, where you're going, who you want to be around. So that's essentially your life. So I don't play games about my life.
That's deep.
Huh.
Super deep.
All right.
I don't know how we jump into that. I don't know.
I'll just say this as a person who has an opportunity to know you besides the show.
Yeah.
She does not play about her life whatsoever. Let me tell y'all.
I could tell.
I will say this. Hopefully you get this a lot often. You're a very down to earth person.
I am.
And I was well, I'll be upfront. I'll be cause sometimes with certain presentations, she's gonna be but when
I'm bougie, uptight. Let's stay away from her because she might want the coin real quick. But I do, but real connections are real too.
Guilty.
But I'll just say I was fairly surprised. It was a breath of fresh air. And from there, our relationship took off from there. So I would say, yeah, you are a very down to earth individual.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just think it's just being cultured, being from New York and being around different cultures, and not essentially being where I want to be, but knowing where I want to be, and then going to LA and it was just in my face. So it's okay, we done made it to come to Portland. It's okay, I know how to mix and groove around different people and still kind of keep my identity.
Very much so.
Okay. Robert, what you playing no games about with today?
I have like 1.5 things I'm not gonna play any games about. I'm gonna like move your mic just a tad bit closer if you're gonna sit back.
You're gonna touch my like space
I'm not gonna touch your space. I just like
boundaries.
good sound. Because if you're gonna sit back, but what I also really play no games about is if you're watching the visuals, I am doing something. If you're watching on audio, I'm doing something hilarious. Watch it on the videos.
Oh my God.
Actually, what I don't play no games about actually is something that's very actually it's kind of like on my mind. What I don't play no games about is the hustle. Like I just want to give a shout out to all my people who have $1 and a dream, and I'll just say that if no one's told you this week that what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to do it. And my thing is sometimes it's not the dream, it's the consistency. It's like literally you following in that routine, because it's delicious to dream, but like what really gets you to that dream is that journey. And like if you don't wake up and you really are not passionate about it, try to find something else. So shout out to all the dreamers out there. That's what I want to play no games about.
Gas prices are getting higher, so you gotta have you a coin.
Man, she ain't playing. Oh man, that's a dope one. I think it taps into different aspects of like everyone's lives, right? Like if your dream ain't on your mind all the time, then you falling behind. And it's crazy that we like as you become an adult, you ask those questions of like, how you doing, what your dream is, and all that. And a lot of people just don't have the answer to that. They're like, oh, I'm living my dream, but then they're on the inside miserable in what they're doing, or they just feel some type of way.
I could see that. I definitely feel like it's more so like a lifestyle choice. Like I think it's really also about perspective. We all like, I don't know, like we're in depth like situation or you, but like definitely like it's a choice of like where you want to go and what avenue you want to go, and not like giving up. You know, because there's like, always going to be like things that's going to like stop you from your pace. But if you know how you want to live and you know where you see yourself, it's like you don't really get distracted.
That's real. It's real talk right there.
Yeah.
Real talk. I don't know. I'm on a weird mindset right now for today.
What's your wave?
Mind. I play no games about I don't know. It's really like I'm in like a weird transition period for me in my mental, like, so taking breaks, mental breaks. And I think it's an opportunity for people to really just see who they are and mentally like check in with themselves. And I usually do one every morning when I wake up, or I wake up early. I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, and I'll sit in my bed and just lay and think about my day and what I want to do and what I want to accomplish for my day. And I'll do that for about 15, 20 minutes before I get up and really get active on everything that I need to do. And I try and take that break for myself just to like breathe in and recognize that I'm here, I'm alive, and that I can wiggle my toes and shake my hands and be motivated to keep grinding. So like, that's something that I try to stay consistent with. So
you're super present.
Yeah,
that's good. I think it's important to be super present. You know, like you're deciding how your day goes. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us like get too invested in what's going on at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Versus like deciding like this is like a 3D world. Like we're like really deciding how this day moves and how it goes. Like not everything's as bad as how it seems. You know what I mean? It's more so like your perspective going back to that, like how am I going to move forward and like making myself be like the best person I need to be even through all these diversities and challenges.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's a real statement. That's real.
So, you know,
what's ticking in the brain?
I think this is a perfect time to
let me get comfortable because I feel like it's getting serious.
A little bit.
I think this is the perfect time to just to ask you, because you know you come from BX.
I know. Like,
and
I need this Terror Squad.
Oh, do it!
Hey,
you back with it. But before we get into like how you came from there to Portland, You've been trying to beat me in a duet for a very long time.
Oh my God, we like.
And we have a judge, and I want you to judge fairly.
Please do, because I'm coming.
Okay?
When is this going on?
Right now.
This is going on now.
Right now.
Oh, snap.
So you're going to pick a song in your mind that you know, and you're going to sing it.
No, I need like a song that has like two people so we could go back and forth. So like I could like feel the energy real quick.
Well, there's like copyright things, so there's like certain songs like we can't like have songs being played.
We'll deal with them later.
I don't want this web to come down.
Wow.
So how are we gonna do this? So I have to pick a song.
Just pick a song that you know. You get 15 seconds, and then AJ's gonna be like, "All right, who wins?" And we got this one for the books.
Oh my God, this is so hard. Cause I got a couple of songs that give you a little moment.
It's getting real on the.
Or how about this? We can pull. How about this? We can pull the lyrics of your favorite song on your phone, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, is this no audio?
No audio, just you.
Ooh, this is like a whole nother like avenue we're going. Okay. You got like kind of like this. What's it like charades? No, you gotta guess what I'm singing.
Ain't no be able to hear you.
I know. So you got like I really gotta get the energy on this.
Okay. Oh man.
You see what I'm saying?
I got a song.
You need your phone?
I kind of do.
Grab it.
All right. I got this one. Hold on one second. Nah, I can't have you be looking over here. I got a perfect song to beat you with. One second, y'all. We about to end this.
Oh, okay. I want you to sing this song. Okay, you sing this song. If you can like go off on this song. Go off on this song. You remind me, Usher.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
All right, we can do an Usher batter. I'll pick an Usher song to be fair.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this battle now.
We're gonna do 90s, okay?
90s.
We're gonna do the 90s, okay?
Absolutely.
That just kills the song I was about to choose.
No. It's the OG vibes because we're schooling today.
All right.
I respect it.
It's a schooling session.
Ooh, she said she about to take you to school.
All right.
Okay?
Ooh.
It's what made you saucy, so embrace it.
All right. I'm ready. I have my song.
Okay, I have mine too. I didn't have to look.
All right. Are we ready for Rob?
Uh-oh. Here we go. Round one. Round one. Fight.
I got you. Come stop your crying. It will be all right. Just take my hand. Hold it tight now. I will protect you from all around you. I will be here. Don't you cry. For one so small, you seem so strong now. My arms will hold you, keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. 'Cause I'm here. Don't you cry, you'll be. There we go. Goated.
He really just did that.
Goated. I didn't
On
look at the
camera.
lyrics. I that's all I gotta say.
I'm looking at my lyrics, okay? Because I gotta be sharp.
All right.
Oh my God, we singing? Because I thought we was like gonna do like the whole little like just lip sync.
Oh no. Are you? No, we gotta
I
get the
cannot
words up
sing,
there.
but I'll give you a vibe.
Ooh.
I
Okay.
give you a vibe, but I can't sing. Must you do the things you do? You keep on acting like a fool. You need to know it's me, not you. And if you didn't know it, boy, it's true. Are we keep going?
Yeah.
Oh. Enough. The boy is mine. I'm so. That's it.
Now, impartially.
He won. Just because we didn't know the rules, I was like, I thought we were going to lip sync and like swing the hair and.
Oh no, my voice is fine. I got shower Grammys. I'm good.
Yeah, but we be doing like a little lip sync thing on the thing.
You
Like,
said shower Grammys.
So, AJ, before we get, I want you to be honest. I'm talking about presentation. I'm talking about voice. I'm talking about
one
lyrics.
child because I didn't know the rules.
Who you got? Who you got?
Take your win. Take your win. I don't really let people win like that, but you win.
Wow, I'm gonna let the judge decide.
So, context of the song.
You guys do your head like this. You know, people do like this or this.
You got the context of the song. Yours wasn't long enough, but you know that I was vibing. You know,
I should make a move when I won't.
This is
on vocals. You know, Robert One.
yes, sir. City boys up.
On vocals, Robert One, and then you know, on
the man won, child.
on lyrical content.
The man done one, child.
Robert One.
The man done one, child.
Yeah, put this on the books.
If I gotta say the winner,
It's Robert, child.
Rob.
It's like, you know, the buzzer or like
Robert
the
One.
thing where they turn the chairs around.
You know what?
They didn't turn the chairs around for me.
I'm gonna put a poll in this one. We'll see what the
We is
fans
not
say.
doing a poll, child.
What?
I'm telling you, the people's looking for a reason because I done came and pulled up,
So
but she wasn't ready.
let's just say this. Thank you for going off the cuff, but let's get into the most serious things. So literally,
Absolutely.
BX, Bronx, Brooklyn. Where it's at? It's in Portland. It's really not. But how did you move from that great state to here? Please.
I love New York. Like, I feel like I'm always gonna be a New York girl at heart. Like I don't know. Like, I think my realness, my love of being assertive. Do you know what I mean? Being like a good, loyal person. That's like New York. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
We're very like, we have this kind of thing about us where we seem very standoffish, but we take time to actually get to know people before like we bring them into our space.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm gonna keep that. But like for me, I've always known I wanted to do more. Like, I'm gonna be a little corny for a second. Like, I watched the Rice Roni treat commercial when I was like 6, and I was like, I want to move to California.
Really? Off Rice Roni?
Yeah, like this little street cart
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I was like, I want to move to California. I didn't know why I wanted to move to California, what I was gonna do, but I was like, that's where I see my life. And like, don't get me wrong, I grew up in the suburbs, so I was like 10, so like I had like a really cool little like situation. But then I moved to the Bronx, so I was like, this is just not a fit for me personally. So I mean, like, definitely like it gave me a perspective like being like sweet, but I'm also like very strong. So I think the Bronx did that for me, but I definitely knew it wasn't the place I was gonna stay.
Okay.
So with that like type of mind frame, like I was like, okay, how can I get to California? Because that's where I want to be. And I knew I wanted to do fashion, and you know, I just did my research. And I'm like, one of the best schools other than FIT, which people were like, why the heck would you go to like
Really?
California when one of the best like fashion schools is in New York City? I mean, but I like knew I wanted to do like more like the entertainment aspect of fashion, more like than design, because I'm not a designer. I don't do design. I'm about like moments, entertainment, like, you know, that vibe, and you like walk into a room. That's like so like LA.
Yeah. I have to agree to that. It's definitely LA. So you take this trip, following your heart and your dreams, to LA. What was it that big transformation from the BX to LA? Like, what was the mindset? How'd you interact with the culture? Because it's when you went from a concrete jungle to Oceanside Beach House. Like,
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you this right now. Like, sis didn't know how to drive. She was 19. So I've been, like, on my feet just trying to always just do things, even if it went against the grain. So I moved to LA. It was, like, a little bit more chilled. So, I mean, but because, like, a lot of people that live there, they're there for a purpose, you know? They're there either to do, like, acting, modeling, you know, real estate, whatever it is. They're trying to make the big bang real quick. So, like, for me, being in a place that's, like, so real, going to LA where it's like you gotta kind of fake it till you make it, and like you can kind of like build on that and get where you need to get. It was so different from New York, because even when I graduated from college, I went back to like New York. Like, it was a little bit like shocking to me. Like, I grew up there my whole life.
yeah.
But it was a little bit shocking to me because like it's so much easier to get your foot in the door. In LA, you just gotta have like a certain look, know the right people, yada yada yada.
Connections.
Yeah. When I went back to New York after graduating, and I remember I worked at this store, like it was like a really high like fashion store, Like, it was in Soho, and I remember, like, no one liked me for a while. You know what I mean?
What?
And no one liked me for a while, and, like, I wasn't used to that. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, being pretty has always been, like, the thing that, like, got me in the door. Do you know what I mean? But when I moved back to New York, like, people more respected me for my talents versus how I looked. Especially being, like, a black girl, do you know what I mean? Working in Soho, like, I was the only black girl in my store.
Oh, wow.
You know? So when I look at stuff like that, it's like, to me, it's like, I don't really think it's really about color. I think it's like how people gravitate towards you more than anything. So I've always like held myself to a certain standard and know how to acclimate. But obviously, like, you know, as you get older and you're around different people, you got to know like how to like spark their interest. And I think that's like kind of what I learned when I went back to New York, like keeping that like me and like the LA vibe, but also knowing how to gravitate towards certain people where they respect you.
You said something that was very interesting to me. Is you talked about talent and then beauty. I know for us, we've always talked about, and we've lauded around when we say certain women experience like pretty girl privilege. Pretty girl privilege. Have you heard of that before?
Not as much, more so like light skin privilege. I've heard that more so than anything.
And I just want to ask you, why is my voice going? I just want to ask you, do you think, per se, how does it feel coming from having your talents being like judged versus someone's like, oh, you're just a pretty girl? How does that affect you?
I don't think that's ever really affected me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think growing up, like, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't the pretty girl growing up in high school. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I've always put more of my, like, energy into, like, my personality. That's, like, always been, like, my biggest thing, like, my personality. You know, obviously, like, when I went to LA, like, you know, I'm growing, I'm developing, coming into who I am. Do you know what I mean? I started noticing that it was more, like, about my looks. You know? I did start noticing that. But because like I've already been so grounded in building my personality that even when people come to me with like a certain type of energy like about my looks, they get like really intrigued once I start talking. You know, because I've never based myself on my looks.
Do you feel like that's that Brooklyn personality that you?
I don't think that's that at all. I think it's just a personal thing. You know, like I've always really been into like, you know, being smart, like I said before, and like I've always had like a lot of like guy friends always. I never was the girlfriend. I was always like the homegirl. So for me personally, like I think like those relationships with men are just in my life were a little bit more genuine versus like I'm trying to like get something. So when I knew I had the ability to get something based off my looks, like it's like, okay, this is the one foot in the door, but I'm gonna really sell the deal, you know what I mean, by my personality.
What? So, speaking to the ladies, like, what do you say is like the best way to not only get your foot in the door, but like you're saying, like your personality, like what about it do you feel like can like kick the door open? Like,
I think it's just being authentic. Like, you know, sometimes like, you know, he was talking earlier, I'm not the stereotypical like girl when you look at me, you know what I mean? And I've like sometimes had to battle that. Even like moving to Portland, like I moved here like maybe 2 years ago, and it was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was the worst experience ever, you know. But it was the worst experience ever because it was a test. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a test because I was around a lot of people that were not like me, did not look like me, and you know, when you're in that stage, like trying to figure out yourself, like you want to fit in. So when I moved here, it was like, okay, I'm a girl that likes to get dressed up. I do my hair, my nails, everything. But like, there's a lot of girls around me that don't do that. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of black women out here. So because I don't want to be the oddball out, I'm going to try to just fit in. But with that being said, I think from my experience then to now, knowing that I was going to move back here, I think it's really big on your happiness because like your happiness is what's going to drive you throughout your day. And I felt like my happiness wasn't being fulfilled trying to fit into this box because fitting in that box did not make me feel whole. You know?
That's deep.
It didn't make me feel whole. It made me kind of feel like kind of lost. And I feel like when you're lost, you don't really have any direction. Even when you, like, we're all going to get spoken about. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, when you're testing the limits and doing something different, we're always going to be talked about. But I'd rather be talked about and feel whole than to not be talked about and not be whole and still be talked about. You know, people are going to talk about you either way you see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what you do, people are going to talk about you.
Yeah.
But I'd rather when you talk about me and I go home at night, like I feel good about me.
And that's so crazy because I work with high school students, and that's one of the biggest things that I always tell them. Like, you get mad that somebody's saying something about you, not realizing that they're going to talk about you regardless if you're doing something positive or negative. It's like, how are you going to take it? Like, are you going to weigh into it now, fight this person, and now you give them a reason to continue to talk about you, or are you just going to let them talk? Because ultimately, they putting your name out there and not theirs. So it's like you get notoriety regardless if...
Right. Bad press is good press. Like, it's sad to say, like, some people use it in the most negative way, like when I was like talking about social media. Like social media is really supposed to be a platform for businesses to put themselves out there, but it's become more of a thing of vanity. So it's like people are depicting and showing what they want to show, but like your life is your life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Your life is your life. So it's like, for me, I think whatever I put out there on social media or you or anybody is like, I'm okay with it. You know, because I know personally, like I have my days where I'm like, oh, we got to turn the phone off. You know, you just got to get away for a second. But at the same time, too, like, I'm like, I just feel like no day is ever really perfect. But, like, I feel like the best thing I can do is be authentic to myself, regardless of what image I, like, depict to you or whatever. Like, because I know, like, when I go home, like, and I, like, take my shoes off, I'm like, how do you feel? You know, like.
Yeah. Good check-in.
Yeah, like, it's like, how do I feel today? Like, and like, I have to be honest with myself how I feel. Like, sometimes I don't like force myself into situations that I know it doesn't feel good.
Interesting. No, I'm proud. No, y'all look at it. I was taking it in.
It looked like he's about to say something. That's
I was thinking. I guess I want to ask you.
What you want to ask me?
A lot of things.
Okay.
It's like going back to, I know, we'll just say how you said that you navigate a lot of things with your talent and your personality, but how do you deal with that when people put you in that stereotypical bubble? And we'll just say more so with your career, because you definitely, since we've talked, I know you said you style different celebrities, work with PR, where it's kind of like, how do you show those people that it's my talent, not my looks? And how do you navigate through that? So, or how did you navigate through that in those spaces?
I don't think, like, luckily, until like I moved here, you know what I mean? But luckily, like, for a long time, I've never had to deal with those issues, you know? I personally have never had to deal with those issues. But at the same time, too, like, I know, like, I want to say, like, I'm a chameleon. Like, I scope out my surroundings, and I know how to, like, acclimate myself in a way where it's like, it's still authentic, but it's like, I know where I'm at, so I'm not going to do certain type of things. You know, because like, there's difference between business relationships and personal relationships, and there's just relationships we have both where you kind of like have to keep that balance. But if I know like I'm going to like an event or something like that, it's like, I'm sorry, like I kind of prep talk myself, like, this is what we're doing, we're coming here for a purpose, let's do this, and boom. You know, versus like more like interpersonal relationships, like me, you, whatever, you know, like I can like kind of put my guard down a little bit, you know, and show that other little bit of myself because like I know it calls for that because the space that we're in.
Yes.
You know, so like I think I've never dealt with that issue, but at the same time too, when you want to bring it back, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm doing an interview with someone, they're like, you know, the whole story is why they're like, she's an acceptable black girl. Because sometimes I do feel that way. Like, she's an acceptable black girl. You know, like, when she's here, she's not going to start any problems, you know? And it's like, what do you mean I'm not going to start any problems? I feel like we all have our triggers. We all know what's, like, going to, like, you know, make us act a certain type of way. But then you also know people that really and truly just want to be the way that they are. And, like, you're not going to be in my space, my business, my space, my life. It just doesn't call for it. It's not going to work.
Okay. So let's get to some fun aspects. Who and what, when it comes to style and styling, what was your not very first, but your most fun, most energetic style that you've done in your career? I feel like that's this actually was one of my first styling. This is when you bring it up.
But it was like one of my first styling gigs, and I was so green. And like, I love working with people who's green. Like when you're green, like you're like a little bit more easier to mold. You're a little bit more open minded, and like you're just ready. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when my first thing I did was Keisha Cole, like
Wow.
Mama Hearts album. That was my first job I ever did.
Damn.
I got a side note to that.
I remember this day like so vividly. Like I was still in college. I mean, like I had met Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked, and like he.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
I met him because
Wow.
I was going to Urban Outfitters on Melrose, and one of his people came across the street because they wanted to do Black Man's Magazine, but I don't do that. They want me to do Black Man's Magazine. Like that was like my moment. I was like, I'm not into that type of scene, but like I really want to do like celebrity styling. I knew nothing about styling at all. I just did not want to do it. And he was like, oh, come across the street, like come meet people, whatever. So like even here, it's the same thing. Bring back to that moment. When I go out to party, I'm not going out to party to really party. I'm going out to party to see who I can meet. You know.
Yeah, that
So
networking event.
when I went out to party, you know, I'm like kikiing with him and kikiing with the other guy, and he's like, you know, I didn't think he really took me serious at the time. You know what I mean, at all. But the next day he called me. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going to class." He was like, "Do you want to like style Keisha Cole?" I was like, "Oh, class, Keisha Cole, class." Keisha Cole. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call the class today. So I called on the class, and literally when I pulled up, like I'm like not a shy person at all at this point in my life, but I'm gonna tell you, like I was very like intimidated by like the whole situation. Period.
Wow.
I was very, very, very intimidated by the whole situation, like a little mouse, like in the corner, like call me when you need me, you know. But yeah, that was very, very interesting. Like it was like to the point like there was things missing. They were like, can you go to like the Grove? The Grove's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes away. But you know, I was hungry. I was really, really hungry. So like, and like I remember it was like, can you use your money, we'll pay back. And like, you know, usually I'm like, not with my money. But I was like, you need $65 or like, you know, a lifetime opportunity. We're gonna go to lifetime opportunity. So like I went and I got like all this stuff, and like it was a long set. Like it was like to like maybe 2:00 in the morning.
Damn. Oh wow.
Yeah, like and usually that's when you do music videos. They're like long. They're super long.
Oh wow.
So I did that, and that like opened up a lot of doors. Like you know, I still call my mentor Joe. Like Joe like has worked with everybody. Like everybody you can think of, like from Summer Walker to Roddy Ricch. Like that was a person that like opened up the door for me because he was Jason's friend. So like he's the one that kind of like brought me on. And like there's a weird space between like, you know, when you're like an intern, because like, you know, like you're already lit. So it's like you kind of look at your interns like, oh, you can just do this, you know what I mean? So him like working with me and just giving me the opportunity was like really great. It was really, really great. And like I said, went back to New York. I like wasn't really feeling it because I wasn't getting paid, you know, and I was getting good money in, you know, New York, you know, doing more clienteling. But then when I moved back, I worked with another guy, and that also opened up a lot of doors, like working with like Rosa Acosta, doing more like personal things. Like I also interned like at a PR firm because I really to God though I want to own my own like boutique. Like that was like what I'm going to college for. I'm going to own my own boutique. You know. And I was like, if I'm going to do my own boutique, I just feel like, you know, especially like being a boss, like you need to like be able to do everything.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like, oh, this is my store, this is my money, and I want to make the profit. Like you need to be able to like step in when someone can't. You know, so I was like, I'm going to do PR, I'm going to do styling, I'm going to do image consulting, all the gist. Yeah. So even that, like, I got my clientele, you know, thing on swag, you know what I mean? Because I felt like I really needed to be able to do that because, like, building relationships is so important. Like, just in any industry, you know, you have to learn how to, like, bridge that gap. You know, also understand when to walk away because something that's just not working, you know? So I got that from that experience, and I bought it in from, like, remember being really shy, the girl in the corner, like the mouse, you know, to, like, more so knowing how to engage with people from being in New York to coming back to LA, and, like, I kind of hit the ground running.
Super dope. So I got a little side comment on Keisha Cole.
What's up?
So
I changed you change your mind?
no, but my mom and her aunt are like best friends.
Oh, cool.
And so Keisha Cole is my sister's godmom. And so probably like 2000, after she dropped her second album, 2000 like what, 4, something like that, she called my sister and like they were having this long conversation on the phone, because I was like, wait, what the hell? And my mom was like, oh, it's just Keisha Cole. And I was like, wait, what the hell? Like, she talking to Keisha Cole on the phone? So like it was a very like weird relationship. Like my mom knows a lot of random people. And
She from the Bay?
Huh?
Your mom's from the Bay?
No, she's from Sacramento though.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm happy you didn't say it was the Bay, because I like got schooled the other day. Like, I was like, oh, Sacramento's the Bay. I was like, no, sis, it's not the Bay.
No.
They want to be the Bay, though.
yeah, absolutely. But I have family from the Bay though. Most of my family is from California. My dad is from Texas, moved to California, went to high school in California. My grandma just passed away. She lived on the hill in California, in Oakland, or in San Francisco. So
Condolences.
yeah. So like, I know about the Bay a little bit.
Like the Richmond, the little fried, oh my God, what's that place where they make the fried fish on hand, where you pick your fish? It's a Vallejo. Yes. Well, you like pick your fish and you're like.
I do.
I've never been to Vallejo. I've never been to Vallejo.
Oh, let me tell you.
I have a cousin from Vallejo though. He talks about Vallejo all the time.
I love it. Like, you just go into a little fish spot, fix your, I want that.
Like from Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
What?
Wait,
Okay. I know that movie, but what do you mean in that context?
like you go to the fish store and she be like, well, I got you to, how you brought.
Maybe I missed that part, but yeah.
Wow, never
Whatever
mind.
she did is what I did, because I'm happy about the tartar sauce and the hot sauce. So, you get to squeeze on your own.
I'm gonna have to hit my cousin about that.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the name of that.
Good. You know, black people, when they like don't really care, they just be throwing a whole bunch of seasoning on it. So it's amazing.
That's funny. Yep.
So I just want to make sure before we like close this revolving door, when it comes to how you see yourself or where you want to see yourself with that career, where do you want to take that, or where you want to be in the next 3 to 5?
I think right now, like, my most important thing, which like I think I've kind of highlighted on it before, like I lived here and I really did not want to move back here. I think it's so important. Like I reached out to this guy like right before I moved here. Like I reached out to a lot of people before I moved here. Like a couple are like mutual friends. Like I was like, okay, if I'm gonna move back here, let me use my networking abilities to like kind of like scope Instagram, Facebook, connect. So when I'm here, it's like I already know like how to move. Like I'm not gonna get sidetracked because I've been here before. And I know it's so easy in Portland to get very comfortable.
Oh yeah.
And kind of lose sight of where you're going.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, like I think my major issue when I lived here before, like there wasn't a lot of girls like me, and I would say black women. There wasn't a lot of them like me.
Interesting.
And when I moved back here, I definitely wanted to depict like you could be a black woman and be like strong, a mom, be successful and still be classy. Because I don't want to say it isn't here, but there isn't a lot of women out here that is like giving off that like vibe. No offense. I'm just saying, keeping it real. But also too, we can't do what we don't know, So, I want to serve as an example of that.
Continue that. I think you should dive a little bit deeper into that thought, because I think it's an important thought that I think even on the male side of the spectrum, like, is very important to recognize. Like men who don't see something positive or this fashionable, like people talk about how people go out in Portland all the time. Like you going out in Portland in Nike jumpsuits and Jordans and thinking you somebody. When you go to LA or you go to Texas, New York, you're not getting in. You're not getting into none of these clubs. You're not getting into none of these top-notch clubs.
I actually had a moment. Like I had a moment the other day, and like I have not, like, for me, like, when I lived in LA, like, I was, like, kind of, like, in the socialite scene, you know what I mean? Like, OG was out, boom, boom, boom. And I don't think I really, like, I don't want to say appreciate, because I don't think it's a gift, you know what I mean? But I didn't realize how much I had an advantage, you know what I mean? Living in LA and looking a certain way. I mean, it's all about looks. And I kind of bought that mindset when I first moved out here, and I think now, like, living in Portland has definitely made me a lot more humble to the extent of, like, when I go to LA, I'm not really looking at looks like that. I'm looking at, like, oh, like, do I actually like you? You know, like, do I like being around you? But at the same time, too, like, I definitely feel like living here is a different criteria of what they expect. And it's okay. It's definitely okay. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, too, you're not giving anybody anything to work towards.
Damn. Damn.
Sorry.
Keep going. No.
It's the truth, you know.
It's
like, I'm saying it from a space like I really don't care either way. But like, you know, if like I had a business, for example, like I had a club, you know, definitely like I feel like I would want to know what my niche is. You know what I mean? I'm going to do something better than what everybody else is doing. You know, and because I'm going to bring certain people into that space. You know, which is also going to bring other people into that space. Like, it's going to be the place for that. That's why it's a niche. But when you're just letting everyone come into this space, I mean, like, I think it kind of takes away from, like, us, like, in our 30s trying to go out and, like, oh, this is, like, a week we have off, or, like, this day we have off, or, like, you know, we want to connect to, like, it becomes a whole party situation. You know, there's not people there, like, you know, where we can actually network or, like, talk about money or, like, even find relationships that really, like, make sense. Because you got a whole bunch of, like, flyaways. Just roaming.
I have to agree with that situation.
I definitely think we need more lounges here where like there's like a miniature dance floor, but like there's more like places where you can sit and talk to people.
I think there need more expectations. Like, it should not it should not just be Sandy and Joe in there. You should know it's, for instance, it's like me going to dive bar. I know I don't belong there. I could come and sit there, but I know I don't belong there. Like, it should be that type of situation where you know you can go to this place for this.
So we need a Soho house.
Something.
Okay.
Something, because I know all my friends that I associate with are all doing stuff, do you know what I mean? But there's, like I said, there's these flyaways, you know? And, like, I think they want to build this perception, like, you know, by building these long lines. You know what I mean? That is popping, but is it really?
Man, you really coming for the city right now.
I'm not coming for the city. I feel like no. We're gonna gear back a little bit. I'm not coming for the city because I actually think, really and truly, that I mean there's so much room for development. Do you know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of.
I agree with that.
Even with fashion, do you know what I mean? Like, granted, like, this is not where I get my jobs at. Do you know what I mean? But it is a space because there isn't that many competition. You can really build something for fashion here. It's just you really have to know what you want to do and really be determined to do it. You know, but that's what I said, going back again, that niche. Yeah. I don't think people are really understanding that aspect of it. So I'm not coming for the city because it's beautiful, child, when it's like sunny. Ooh, nice, you know.
You see them cherry blossoms?
I did see the cherry blossoms. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, it's about to be a little lit, you know.
Ooh.
We haven't seen in a while, about to be outside.
Ooh, who you going with?
I'm not going with nobody because you know what? Gotta keep it a little bit exclusive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, dang.
It's important to keep your energy exclusive.
Ooh.
I feel that. And my question to you is, I love how you talking about the city because, like you said, like somebody who cares about things is always gonna have some way of talking about improvement, right? And I think we forget that, and I think it's a huge piece. My biggest thing with the city is that there's not a lot of people like us who would support somebody in that position to put something together like that. And I feel like when we have a lot of people that look like us and are doing something successful and want to do something for the city that's like in a niche, it doesn't last because either people don't know that person in the city or they don't want to support it. And so it's a tough like cookie to swallow. Like I feel like what you're saying is very important. It's very like, and I'm not trying to be like a Nancy whatever, but like, nah, I agree with everything you're saying. Like, there's not a place where you can just go sit down and chill out, and network, and meet people that look like us, and have a good time, and have the good '90s jams bumping, and like, there's not a place like that, you know.
There really isn't. Like, I was like having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, okay, like I do look at statistics. You know, I'm not sure at the exact number, but it's definitely probably about like 11% black here.
It's less than that.
I was gonna say 9, but I think it's always about 11.
It's actually only 7%.
7. Okay, that's worse than what I just said.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think with that being said, the person was telling me like, oh, like when black people do have events, they do stuff like immediately they're gonna think something terrible is gonna happen, like gun violence or something. So it's like, so like shoot. So it's like I get it. I'm the minority, but you gotta think the worst when us as people come together, you know, and that's kind of disheartening to me because like I don't, especially being black, like not all black girls are the same. Do you know what I mean? Like even when we went back to dating, do you know what I mean? How like some black men out, like a lot of black men out here will date white women. Do you know what I mean? And maybe in their mind, you know what I mean? They think because what they've been around, all black women are the same. Do you know what I mean? And I'll even take it back to being a black woman. We think black men are how you have a whole different perspective from me. Or it's like the black man is like, look at him, he's not trying to work, he wants to smoke the weed all day. And that's not true. That's not true. Do you know what I mean? That is not true. There's all different types of white people. Like, you know, I'm not even gonna come across myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, ooh, I've never been like it's a very sensitive word, so I'm like hoping I'm not offending anybody. But like when someone said white trash me, I've never been around that. Do you know what I mean? I never ever in my life the same way I've only been around one type of like Mexican person. Do you know what I mean? So I think like when you start like going out there more and experiencing more people, it does like change your
perspective.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But if you were born here your whole life and it's like you said like there's 7% and there's like what like 80 or 70% white and you've only been around this type of black people, it's like you're already premeditating what type of situation you're gonna get.
Absolutely, I agree.
And that sucks.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge piece from people in Portland. They don't travel a lot. People don't get out. They don't see different places. They don't get to see that good old Brooklyn culture that there's there. People in Texas that have that good old Southern black culture that brings something different. Like don't get me wrong. There's definitely unique like Oregon black history that comes with a lot of the culture here, but in a state like that we are in, and we're only 7%, like the culture should be a lot stronger than what it is, and there's really not a big set of standard or culture that we represent.
I don't know. Like I feel like for me personally, like being around you and other people, like I do, like I said, like I have people in my circle that I feel like they're really good at what they do. So I mean, and the people that like they click with really support them. But it's like, how can we make this a bigger platform? Do you know what I mean? So like not just like us as friends, like people outside that would want to enjoy. You know, how like you can do that? How? I think that's the question.
I think it just takes and like, you know, what we are trying to build is like it just takes you be authentically yourself, because I feel like and this is just my opinion, when people get that very first taste of like success, I feel like it's almost like a poison where it's kind of like, oh, and the only best way I can equate it is like, you know, when we started in 2020, I think we started the podcast like 2 years ago, and like the views will be all over the place. It'd be either like 2 or 3 or like 10, 15, or like if we got a guest on, you know, it'd be 20 because of their friends. And I would say the start of this year, our views have, you know, stayed consistently like high. Like every episode we've either gotten a bump, and like I had to really check myself to be like, because I just saw myself being like, oh yeah, people paying attention, blah, 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 people doing this, rah, 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 and all this other stuff. I told y'all should have been, you know, and like I had to check myself to be like, nah, the reason why people are finally paying attention is due to consistency and because of who and we are. And I feel like when people climb that success ladder, they taste that forbidden fruit.
Get comfortable.
That's comfortability, and it's like, oh, it's what people view. We're like, if we were all wearing 4L chains and they were all like had all the real diamonds and things like that, people, that perception of like, oh, this podcast is hot, like this podcast, like they got money. No, I metaphorically have that on because I'm the juice. whether y'all are saying it or not. And I feel like no matter where we're at on that ladder, I know the next episode we ever put out is the dopest episode we've ever done. Like, that's my mindset. Because I don't want to ever get, not complacent, drunk with what the American dream is supposed to be. I want to forever stay humble for every expectation, because I got to remember, and I think that goes into the quality of work that you forever do. That's why people say mama mentality. Kobe's already had all the accolades. Like, he knew he was this before he did all the stuff he said he was going to do. Keeping that mentality. This is the foundation. So I think that's what it is. People staying true to themselves.
And I think that taps back into a question that I have for you and your process and your body of work that you've accomplished and pushed out. How do you carry yourself in a way, or continue to carry yourself in this aspect of like humility, of like knowing what you've done and represented and put out there as a product, and allowing people to like tap into that?
Me, like, in particular?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is knowing that, like, everything is constantly changing, and you have to constantly change with the change.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that, like, is the biggest thing. Like, I don't think anybody should ever want to stay the same, you know? But it's like taking what you know you're good at and making it better. Are you talking about being complacent? Like, yeah, this might have worked for you now, but, like, the world is changing. You got to change with it. So being current and also be willing to learn more about your craft.
Yeah.
So I think that's what kind of kept me, in a sense, like, relevant. And that's the biggest thing I've learned with any industry, even more so being in LA. Like, it's really about being remembered, being relevant. You know, you can't just start something and put it out there and not be on top of it. You know what I mean? Constantly pushing it. Just because someone liked it now, they might forget about it. You know, so you have to constantly keep yourself in a space of where people are constantly going to remember you. And that's a job. You know, that's a job. That's a mental job, and just like constantly checking yourself, and also being available to people. So that's why I feel it's so important to do like your passion, because if it's not your passion, like, you can get to a space of like, I just want to take a break. But you really can't take a break when, you know, there's so much stuff on the line. You know, because like that's another thing too. Like, in LA, like, there's always the new girls coming out, the younger girls, the prettier girls. It's the truth. I mean, I'm keeping the buck with you. So, I mean, there's always someone that's, you know, like I said, green, more ready to do things for free. So, I mean, so it's like, how can you put yourself in a space where you're going to continuously keep going? Because there's someone that's going to be willing to do what you won't do for free.
And I think that's a uniqueness of LA too. And that's why it's not even really about the money aspect of living in LA. It's about the connection aspect of it.
It's very big on building relationships. Like, and I think that's why for me, like, I'm generally very calm for the most part, you know, because Portland is small, yes, but I don't really feel like the same like LA. Like, there's a lot more at stake. Like, I may have a problem with you and work with you and have a bad attitude, but, you know, maybe 2 years down the line, I may be working with you again, you know? So it's like, it's always just keeping that space of like respecting myself and knowing what I'm doing, but also like keeping that relationship where I don't feel like affected by it, you know? And it's a hard thing to do. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's some people I'm like, I don't like working with, or, you know, like, you know, I don't want to do this or do that. But it's like really also at the same time too, like, you get to a certain space where you can make those choices and value yourself and say, I don't want to do this. But when you're not at that space, it's like really like a mental challenge. Like, okay, like, I got to look at the bigger picture. I got to look at the bigger picture right now and kind of roll back and like figure out what I'm trying to get from this experience.
That's big.
That's real big. That's real big.
Well, I think this is a great time for us to do about face.
Oh my God, like face?
Because I got some things.
Wait,
Because
oh,
you know what
you over here? You over here voguing?
Oh, I didn't know. This was like, you know, like a pattern on the face.
Oh no.
I didn't know what type of face he was doing.
Well, I just want to do a slight shift because you know, there's a lot of things people say about like men with podcasts that they're trying to like, this is our therapy, and we got, you know, at least what I hear about our show, we gotta have more women on, all these things like that.
Yeah.
And we have, a decent following. And I want you to bless us with some things that we always talk about. And now we have someone who's balanced, open-minded when it comes to things. So I'm going to throw a couple questions at you.
Oh my gosh.
And I just want your overall opinion.
Okay.
Because we got to help some of these fellas out. So I want to ask you.
Let me get myself together real quick.
I want to ask you, does style play into attraction when you look into someone of the opposite sex?
I don't. Okay, so like this is the thing. Like I think it depends on the woman. Do you know what I mean? Like I love to like get dressed up. That's me though. It makes me feel like I can take on my day. But necessarily I won't like look at a guy because he's not like super decked out and designer. But like I won't talk to you. That's not gonna be like a kill for me. Okay. But like I look at like certain women. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, he's not wearing this. He's not wearing that. Like they associate that to having money. So I mean.
That's what I'm asking. Does it matter?
It's social having money, do you know what I mean? But it's like I don't put my money into what I wear. I put my money into how I live. So I think it's about the person.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's dope.
Okay. I got another thing.
What?
Can guys and ladies be friends? Like real friends? We ain't talk about they did something?
No, I'm going to really answer this question because I feel like I've been going this transition myself right now. I have never, ever had a problem with being just platonic friends with men. Do you know what I mean? Ever. So I mean, like, I've dated certain people that, like, they feel like men and women can be friends, and it was just the wildest thing to me ever. Like, why don't you think I could have, like, a guy friend and nothing be going on? But recently, the waters have been kind of tested where I'm like, okay, obviously, like, I'm a man, you're a woman. Like, there might be some level of attraction, especially when you get older, you don't want to show time, you around me, like, you know what I mean? Like, I work all day, I'm choosing my little one Monday to hang out with you. I'm going to shoot my shot, but it's just, I think, I'm just being 100% honest with you. When you're, like, a busy person in your 30s, you're working all day, you're going to the gym, doing all this stuff, and you choose to hang out with a female, might be your friend, do you know what I mean? But you also might have attraction to them. You might want to, like, shoot your shot because, like, I'm giving you my, like, sleep time.
That's an interesting perspective.
Like, I'm giving you my sleep time, but I think it's also, like, I think if you have the right type of friend and you're not encouraging it, they will understand. Do you know what I mean?
No, because it's crazy because I completely hear you. I've had a female friend I've known since third grade, and people ask us that all the time. Like, how have you... Not like one of our friends were like, y'all ain't married? Like, why aren't y'all married? And I was like, because that's my friend. Like, I look at her as like my sister. Like, and it's like, for me, men and women can have that relationship if, like you said beforehand, you understand the grounds that it stands on. But I think a lot of, coming from a male's perspective, there is a sense of physical connection between a man and a woman, where he's like, let me just play the sideline until, girl is like, girl shoot her shot, or whatever the case may be. And so, like, I think that is the question that Robert is asking. Do you feel like sometimes men and women play the sideline for friendships to jump into, like, whatever that case may be?
Maybe they might be trying to, like, just find an opening, but at the same time, too, like, I don't know, I'm a little on the spiritual side. But, I do feel like sometimes, like, you just brought it back to something I was thinking in my head. Like, sometimes you can have a friend that's a soulmate. There's soulmates in different areas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A soulmate don't have to be, like, somebody you with. Like, I might be, like, your friend. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, damn, like, I might want to do something. And then, like, you get the... I'm just saying, in general, I might want to do something. But then you get that something, and it's not what you thought it was. You know what I mean? Or what you wanted. Do you know what I mean? So it brings you back to that space of, like, I truly and genuinely like your energy and you being around me. Are you listening?
Whoa! I feel like, what? You were sending clips over here. Did I do something?
No, you did not. I was just trying to get you to engage for a second.
I'm engaged!
Yeah, engage for a second.
So, my mindset is like, Bro, she really came for me in all the examples. I don't know if these are
No, I just want you
subliminals.
to engage me for a second.
I
because
mean-
you're the one who directly asked me the question. I mean, and
Very
he,
true.
And he elaborated on it. So I was bringing it back to you so make sure we had a better understanding.
I'm so glad
Because he
that
understood me.
wow, I am so glad that we have you here to make sure that the questions are being answered. So I guess for me, the reason why I asked
Keeping
that
Robert
question,
in check. That's all she's doing.
she's definitely doing that. The reason why I asked you that is because I just run across a lot of people who say that women and men can't be friends, and that is something that I have the container to hear. But I also have my own personal, so I try my best not to blend my personal with actually like this is what society thinks or what this has been done. And like we've talked about this a lot on the show, and I think for me personally, through personal experiences, I've learned that a lot of men and women can't be friends. This is just from personal experience, but like I've always never held that because like if that person's your friend, it's your friend. But it's kind of like, how does one balance and talk? Like I'm just talking about from my personal experience, but like there are a lot of situations where a dude's like, oh, that's just my girl, or that's my cousin, or that's my bestie, and they're really like,
No key.
exactly. So my thing is, the reason I'm asking you is that because we always come from like a male perspective, and I just wanted to come from a woman's perspective of like, let's just say you were in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
With a guy, and he's like, oh yeah, this is my bestie, and like she's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. She does a non-threatening, like I ain't a threat girl, but like you just notice like how does that make you feel challenged? Does that bother you?
It really doesn't make me feel challenged at all because I think I've had conversations with other men before about this, and I think they have this thing in their mind, and you can tell me right or wrong, where they like females catch feelings way too quick. We just can't be friends. Like from my perspective, sometimes I'm like, okay, like you might be someone like I might want to like engage with in that type of way, but then it's like if I really care about you, maybe it's the same sense I do think like a guy. You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't do that because I don't want to hurt you because I wouldn't care after the fact. I mean, I would be completely normal, like nothing ever happened. I would be okay with you saying I'm your friend because I know what I want out that situation.
So okay. So
You know
this is why I'm here. So I'm hearing you saying that
What?
some women be like, I know homeboy liking on me. I'm kind of liking him, but I'm showing some self-restraint, right? And you're not making, and you're defining those boundaries within that relationship, right?
No, not really. Like I said before, like there's some people like I definitely can tell like they probably care about me a little bit more than what like I would probably want them to care about me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And depending on how I feel about that person, that relationship, I would know not to do and go the second mile because I actually care about them, you know? Versus some people, I'm like, okay, like it is what it is. I mean, like, because I know myself what I'm getting out of it, and I can kind of get the vibe from what that other person's like. Because when somebody's like really into you and when someone is not.
So,
Like you can't fake the funk. You know when someone is like invested in you and someone's not. I mean, I think that's like when you have to make that choice. Like, what am I trying to get out of it? I mean, like it's like a programming thing. Some degree is like, okay, if I do this with this person, or I decide to like kind of reach out of our friendship, like will I be comfortable being around this person tomorrow if we just hung out and got coffee?
That's interesting.
And that's kind of like how I make my decisions based on the whole friendship.
So in the aspect of like friendship, there's like two ways you define your friendships. It's like, yeah, and it's like we're strictly platonic. Like you're my homie. I know there's nothing there. Yeah, he might catch feelings. If he starts to catch feelings, I'm gonna slow down. And then you have the other ones that like, okay, we might catch feelings if something happened, but we could still be cool afterwards.
Yeah, there's some people like that where generally like there's an attraction, but like it's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not going. It's not going anywhere. Like you just know sometimes like there's that attraction, but it's just not going anywhere. So
like it's not going to cross over.
Like outside of just the attraction, like what do we have in common? Like would I really want to? No.
And so, how do you continue those friendships, or do you?
That's a good question.
Do you continue those friendships? You cut those friends off, or you just make it like once in a blue moon, or like?
No, it's just I don't know. Like it's really how you feel. Like obviously, like I think there's a respect level. Like if you're in a relationship and like no, you cannot bring the homie around with your dude. No. We're gonna have to like, we're gonna have to ghost you for a little bit just because I'm gonna have to do that for a little. I'm not gonna completely ghost you, but like letting a person know like this is the situation I'm in, and because this is what we have already developed, you can't just be around me like that because I've set a pattern, versus like someone like you are really my friend. You can be around me while I'm in my new situation. You know what I mean? Because I've already set a pattern with
I've already set the line. I've already drawn the line out.
No. Like there's a boundaries respect thing, And I hate to say that, but like sometimes I hate to see that because like some people, how you ask, are they okay like playing on the sideline? Some people play sideline, like I'm about to wake up soon, so when you need me, get at me.
Like some
people do that, like
it's
I'm
true.
gonna leave sis alone. I'm gonna leave sis alone, or I'm gonna leave him alone because I know like when you're done with that,
So the bigger question is, I've heard that some ladies, I want to don't say it all, make it monolithic. Some ladies have backup plans. Is that true?
Oh my god! So like, okay.
We opened all the doors today.
So I've been told to always keep you a spare.
Wow.
Okay? Keep you a spare. And like that's a complicated thing for me because like I don't really necessarily believe in spares. That means I don't necessarily believe in having a spare, but it makes sense to have a spare because it's like people don't want to deal with their feelings. You know what I mean? When they break up with somebody, so when you have someone just jump back into a situation, it feels good. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that spare just kind of like gives me a little bit of like dishonesty too. At the same time as well, like when you're with somebody, low key, because you gotta give someone a little bit of attention. Do you know what I mean?
We are the Play No Games podcast.
You gotta give someone a little bit of attention. You can't just completely just jump back on ship like, what's going on? No. I'm saying the spare.
No, go ahead.
The spare. You might be with your person, but you got like low key check in, like building those relationships again. How you doing? You gotta like.
All right, so I have a question.
Okay.
No, finish.
No.
I got something.
Keep like if someone like just hit you up months later, like he was low key digging them, do you know what I mean? And like they just go ghost and they pop up again, like you're like, what's going on in your life? Why are you hitting me up? Versus somebody that was like still engaging with you. Do you know what I mean? And then like when they break up with their person, it's like a little bit easier to be like, okay, yeah, like split flush because you've been doing that. I don't know. I don't like to be used. I don't like to be manipulated. So I can tell with somebody your situation over. That's why you're coming back.
But as a man, and coming just from me as a person, like I'd rather have that than somebody that's always reaching out, because then to me it says that our relationship was never based on honesty because you have a spare.
And that's what I said. It's very dishonest. I mean, like,
so
there's two sides to it.
So then it's like, what was the relationship for in the first place?
But there was no relationship. That's the thing.
So you talking, but you said
there was no relationship. That's just called a spare. It was no relationship. You are a backup plan. Do you know what I mean? You are something to help me out. This is about me. This is not about you. This is about me.
So I have a question for you. So I'm gonna frame the situation. You're in a whole relationship.
Okay.
With a man, right?
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay.
I'm just saying because when you asked me, I gave you my answer hypothetically. That's not me, but I can see like the two different sides.
Okay. I appreciate you breaking that down. This is why we're talking about this. Hypothetically. Or actually, we'll do it better. We'll do one of your girlfriends and a man, right?
Okay.
And she comes to you and she's like, hey, my man is talking to this chick.
Okay.
And she's like, he tells me that they're just friends, but they go out for like lunch. They go out to clubbing together, but they're just friends, right?
Okay.
What would you tell your girlfriend? Should she be worried or not worried?
Oh, so you worry about the wrong things. No, because honestly, I don't like to skip to think the worst. You know what I mean? I'm just not that type of person. Like the whole like looking through the phone and all that type of stuff. I'm not in agreement with it because I feel like everything in the dark becomes light. Especially if this is a friend, like a girlfriend that has like been around you, y'all can hang together, whatever, and like you want to hang out with your friend. Like I'm not gonna make a big issue out of it. But there's another instance where like you have this girlfriend, I've never met her. Why you want to hang out with this girl without me?
Okay, with your what you just said, like
what?
6 minutes ago, in your scenario of breaking down the mentality of some women, keeping a spare person, right? Whether you keeping them as a friend.
So do you want to go really deep into this right now?
Yeah,
I want to go really deep into this.
Keeping that person is
I'm my own personal experience. So I'm gonna use my own personal experience.
This is beautiful. Let's get it.
You know. Like,
we play no games. This is play no games. Let's go.
Like I had like an ex back in the days, right? And like we broke up. And we're still like really like, you know, we communicate, we talk. Like I support him. He has his own podcast, everything. And like after me, like he got with this girl that I knew was his friend. Do you know what I mean? But they didn't like, you know, do anything to my knowledge until after we broke up. You know, obviously not together anymore. And I asked him like, what like would make you like want to get? He's like, honestly, she was just there. And it was just an easy thing to do after, like, we broke up. So that...
This submits why... Okay, this...
It was an easy thing to do when we broke up, but it was, like, more so the comfort. That made me think, like, okay, potentially there was something, obviously, that you liked about her. There had to be something. Like, you don't just hang out with people, like, as friends or relationships unless you like something about them. So there was obviously something that was there even before.
So wouldn't you think he wasn't fully invested in your relationship because he had a backup plan? That chick was a backup plan if y'all didn't work.
I don't think
respectfully.
So. I don't really think so. I don't think so. I feel like everybody has a different purpose. I'm sorry. I really do
fair
think
enough. No,
that everybody has a different purpose. Like I said before, like the man like basically told me like she was just there. Do you know what I mean? Like to some degree they probably had like some like level of connection, but is that someone he ultimately wants to be in a relationship and like live his life with? No, because they're not together now. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's like I have a friend to go to the movies with. I have a friend that will kick in my house. You know what I mean? So when you talk about a spare, like, that's why I said there's a level of dishonesty to some degree because it's like, you know, you like that person to some aspect while you're entertaining them. Do you know what I mean? And then you're engaging with them after the fact, you know? And it depends on how you're engaging with them. Because are you engaging with them while we're together in a sense like how you said before, I'd rather you not speak to me at all and hit me up after the fact? Because you might have to engage with this person to some degree to make them still be interested into you. That's why I necessarily don't believe in the whole spare. Because like if you was there before, you're going to be there now. Like you're just waiting. I don't have to like keep you as a backup plan. Why would I want to keep you as a backup plan? Like, why?
So my next question to you is like, say you have a friend that you've met before you get into your relationship. Okay. And now this friend is like partially there but not there, right? And they meet your partner, they meet them and all that, and then you and your partner's relationship ends and that friend now is back in the picture. And you guys are movies and this and that. Is that also considered your spare piece? Like, or is that more like that intimate friend aspect?
No, I have intimate friends. Like,
okay.
I have intimate friends. Like, there's certain things like, you know, like it gives off boyfriend-girlfriend vibe, but it's not boyfriend-girlfriend vibe. It's just like almost like, I hate to say this, but it's like you're giving me everything that a boyfriend would give me without actually being my boyfriend, without being intimate. And sometimes that's nice too, you know? Sometimes that is really nice, you know, to just have like that male companionship, do you know what I mean? Without all the extraness mixed into it.
I know, and I respect that because I feel like a lot of men, like I'll just speak on my own perspective. Like I feel like I have a lot of female friends because like in that process of dating, like I ask those questions, like, am I saying the right thing? And so I ask my female friends, like, is this the right thing to say? Am I thinking this correctly? Because if I'm going to men and having this conversation, they're not going to see it the way, they're going to see it the way I see it. So of course it might come off differently than if I'm talking to females who have a similar mentality as my partner. So now it's like, I'm getting confirmation that I'm doing correct for my woman. So like, I have like that same
It's kind of like practice. It's like, I hate to say that, but it's like,
No.
it's kind of like practice.
This
for
cheat
me.
codes.
It's kind of like practice. You know, I'm doing everything that would, like I said, I'm getting that like male companionship without the extraness. So it's like I'm practicing, like I'm like having those like genuine like situations with men. So when I do get around a man that I actually really like, I know when it really, really feels good.
So I think my last question that I want to ask you is, do you feel like that is a part of, and let's just say that guy, right? What if it says his intentions, he wants something more? How would you handle that?
Tell me, so you wouldn't want to keep going for more. So I that's my honest answer. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm the type of person, like, as you can tell, like, it's like you get what you see. You know, I like to have a good time, good energy, all this type of stuff. But like, when I don't like something, it's not gonna feel good for you either. Trying, you know, it's not. It's not, unless you're the type of person that want to keep trying. And if when you keep trying, I'm gonna slowly start backing away. You know.
Okay.
Because now I don't like being around you because I'm blatantly showing you that this is not something that I'm interested in without blatantly being me. Or I might just, you know, just outright say like, this ain't it, you know?
I feel like you said that before.
Yeah, this is not it. You know, and it might seem like blunt or like,
No.
you know, mean, but it's like, I'd rather say that to you than to, honestly, it's more about me. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be like, damn, like I really like hanging out with him, but every time like I hang out with him is like he's doing something to make me feel like it's a little bit more than what it needs to be.
Respect
So
that.
to not even like put myself in that situation, like I said, like I might just start backing away or just like blatantly just say it, because it's like if I outright say it out my mouth, I probably do genuinely like you as a person. I don't want to keep doing this because I don't want to stop having to hang out with you.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that, because I'm just trying to bring it in and come from a perspective of like how guys review, where I'm like, oh, you know, I'm just wine and dined you and I'm doing all the things of like what I think this is supposed to.
I mean, you gotta eat too.
I'm not gonna ask you that other question because
Like,
That's funny as hell.
like, you gotta eat
That
too.
is funny as hell. I've never heard it like that either.
Yeah.
Usually people are like, whatever, like,
yeah.
you wanted to feed me, and no, you got to eat too. And it's like it cracks a whole different whip. It's funny. Like
the reason why I'm bringing this all in together is because we talked to, at least just not on the show, just like in general as guys, being like, be particular who you take out on like certain dates and things like that. Where it's kind of like, because someone could be wanting for a meal, and yet you might.
First off, a meal out here is going to Sherry's child. They're not taking you nowhere. That's worth your time. So that's why I can't even pay nobody attention really out here, because
Whoa!
I'm just saying, like,
shots fired. All the ones that's been on it.
You know?
Please.
Bop. It's the experience. That's what I'm saying. There's not really a level of experience there. Like, I had to, like, okay, this guy, like, I know, like, from, like, LA, he just recently moved back here. Like, he's, like, has his shit together, whatever. And I know, like, some, like, my early 20s, like, he always was, like, dating, like, these really, really younger girls. You know what I mean? All the time. Like, you know, nice cars, sitting out to eat, and recently moved back. And I was like, what is your opinion on dating, like, in LA and, like, dating in Portland? He was like, honestly, girls in LA have too much high expectations. You got to wine and dine them, take them to, like, the nicest steakhouse, you know, have your shit together, your money, boom, 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 boom. And he's like, I could just take a girl anywhere out here, and she'll just be happy just to be in my presence. Like, yeah, you know, and that's bad too, because now it's like when you do stuff, like you're training every single guy to feel like that's what you're gonna expect. Because like when I go, I'm like, where do you want to go? No, I'm not trying to come outside today, because it's like, yeah, because it's,
I can't.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm not gonna say like, you know, the fourth or fifth time we can't just go to like, you know, a whatever spot. You know what I mean? Because like it is what it is. But it's like I feel like you gotta set the groundwork, you know what I mean, of like putting that time and energy to really woo me. Because if you're gonna just take me to the taco truck, I could take myself to the taco truck.
So you know what? We go. All right. I have one, and then so how much do you think a first date should cost?
Go ahead. You can answer that one.
How much do you think someone should spend on the first
it's about
date?
the cost necessarily. I don't want to put a price tag
Okay.
on
The
like
thought.
No, it's not the thought.
The thought.
No.
The taco truck.
Well, no,
could be-
actually, let me take that back. It is about the thought. Like,
Okay.
you know, like there's places I've been to, like what's it called, like Hello, whatever that place.
Hey, love.
Yeah, that place.
Okay.
Like it has a beautiful aesthetic. It's nice when you go in there, great vibe. You're not gonna spend $100 on a meal for 2 people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like really picking somewhere where you think like it's gonna be like impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like impressive. Like why should I like spend my time with you? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the price tag. Like some people are like, yeah, it's about the price. And let me see what else you can pay for. Do you know what I mean? But like for me, it's like okay, like this is a direct, how should I say, reflection of you and what you like to do outside of hanging out with me. Because I don't just go places. When I take people, it's like, oh, it makes me feel good because you might like it because I like this place. I mean, so like you want to take me like the taco truck, like, oh, you do this every single day. You didn't even think in your mind, like maybe we should switch it up because I'm trying.
You in this taco truck. She taking it out on these taco trucks.
I know. I'm just saying, I love your good taco truck. Like, you know, a little salsa and everything, you know, supreme. But that's like my, like, whatever day. You're not my dude for us to be doing a whatever day yet.
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
No. It's different when, like, that's your dude. Like, it's just like, oh, let's just grab something real quick, whatever. Because, like, we're already comfortable. You already, like, you know, laid your mark. You haven't laid no damn mark. They give a show me nothing different but something I do every single day. It's go to the damn taco truck or go to Dunkin' Donuts or go get a poke bowl.
Go ahead. What you got? What you got to close us out with?
Oh my gosh, you made me forget my whole question. When it comes to women and men compatibility, like, where do you feel like the biggest need is in order for a relationship to be successful?
This is something, I don't know if it's like a real key point, but I definitely feel like people need to work on their own personal traumas. That's something that I've really realized. Like, you know, like a lot of people could be like always have a relationship, because I do know people like that, like they're like serial daters, are always in relationships. But it's like if you're not working through your own stuff, like isn't the goal to like actually keep a relationship and not have to go through those motions constantly? And I feel like when you're going through those motions constantly, like I don't always want to say it's the other person's fault. Sometimes it's your fault too, but like you have to identify what those issues are to be able to like communicate. If that's a problem, you have a bad problem, communicate, are trusting. Like those are things you gotta like do that inner work, and some people don't want to be real with doing those inner work. So like for me, like when I tell people sometimes like I'm not ready for a relationship, it's not necessarily like I'm not ready to be in a relationship with you. I just know what a relationship consists of. You know what I mean? And I feel like why would I put myself in something that doesn't have any longevity, you know, just to waste my time? Because I'm gonna go through those emotions and further like, you know, hurt myself in those traumas I've already went through in the past.
That's deep. No, that's deep.
I agree with that 1,010% from a relationship standpoint and just from like a person standpoint in general. So I appreciate you saying that. I really do, because I feel like we're here and brought on this planet to like ever evolve and change, and that is the important aspect, because you want to be better than you were yesterday, literally. And I will say this: you are one tough cookie. I'll just say that. I appreciate your perspective.
It's a little out there, but
No,
It's not.
oh, it's not okay.
It's not.
I'll just say this. You know, I'll be honest. There's certain things where I'm like, I'll agree to disagree with, but it's always good because AJ was saying this, hearing the other side in perspective, and like it was more like just like understanding that shift, because at the end of the day, you've even talked about this. It's like you don't want to burn a bridge. Like you may have to cross that bridge where like that's the part that baffles me with certain people, where it's kind of like, if you don't like me or like say that, maybe we just be homies and things like that. So I appreciate hearing that from you. So at the end of the day, I like you and I respect you. And this is why I had to have you on, because we needed that.
You know, you just gotta like pick and choose. Like, you know, like I think that's the biggest thing in my motto of my life. I want to be able to pick, choose, and refuse. You know, I want to be able to be in that. No,
Why
for
does
real,
this
I want.
rhyme? Why
No,
does this?
I want to be in that
PCR,
space
huh?
in my life. Do you know what I mean, where I can pick, choose, and refuse? I have options. I'm able to make those choices because I'm in the space of where I can do whatever I want to do. But like that's work and time. So like it's a picking, choose, and refuse. Like okay, like I may like you, I may see you out, hi, but I'm choosing because I'm so solid in my life that I don't need to have you around me as comfort as a friend. You know, some people just have people around them just to have them around them. And you gotta like realize some people are just around to be around, but not in your space. You know, the same thing with like jobs. You know, like I'm so big on like, okay, I want to do something that makes me feel alive, makes me want to wake up, makes me feel inspired. You know, there's some people that don't have that option to pick, choose, and refuse. They need to make a check. So,
Okay.
no, it's like that's the space I want to be in, like being able to pick, choose, and refuse.
Yeah.
Like
no,
that's what I want to be able to be in my life, and like how I want to like move accordingly. Just everything. Like, oh, I want to sleep today. It's okay, but you know tomorrow I'm about to make a. You know what I mean? Like that's like I want to have that
Yeah.
like, unlimited. You know what I mean? Space. Like just like you know, move in a way that like I know it's not affecting me. It's actually how I feel.
Okay.
Your day is determined by you, not by what's
Yeah.
around you.
But like you know, like you have to work towards that. Like you know, like you really do.
Absolutely.
Like especially like I see like I told you, like in LA, like you know, it's a facade. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. It's really a facade. There'll be people that you think have a lot of money and they really, really don't. You know, versus in New York, it's like it's grimy, it's the hood, all these type of stuff. But they're hustlers. You know what I mean? They're trying to work to get towards the band. Like nothing is like given to them. So you have those two different mind states. Like, what do you want to choose? Like, do you want to choose the facade and play the fairy tale, or do you probably want to be in the gut a little bit and like work towards what you want? It's like, what's your end goal? Because
I know we're supposed to end, but I just have a really good question I got kicked to. You just said this to me. I have to ask you this before we get out of here. When you're courting, if a guy's courting a female, right, or a woman, do they want more of that? This is how it is. I'm a hustler, or do you think they want more of the facade? Like, oh, I can do these things. What do you think women want more? The facade,
the man,
or
what women want more?
let's just say, if a guy comes in with a Gucci belt, Jordans, all this other stuff, it looks like he's about money. Rather than the guy who, let's just say, has his shirt tucked in, you know, maybe a suit, or let's just say, not even a suit, maybe some Eddie Bauer shirt, you know, button down, and like some whatever, some dress shoes or something.
Stacey Adams dress shoes.
Yeah. What do you think? Is it more of the facade of like, oh, this person, like he's got this and this, of course he got that, or do you think women want more, or the real, the hustle?
Well, you can't really ask my question because every man wants something different. The same way women look for different things in men.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? Like that's a real broad question to ask. But like if I'm saying as far as like just trying to be general, I definitely I'm not gonna lie. I do think looks are to some degree important. That might be your appearance, the way you look at your face. Like it is somewhat important. But like for me, like how like I said, like I'm not probably gonna date the guy, the flash guy. That's just not like my tea. But like a girl might like the guy that has like the big chains on and you know whatever. You know, it's just finding what I like. And like when you find what you like, it's like okay, you got the 1 foot through the door. Now it's like the conversation. Do you know what I mean? Next. Like, can we seal the deal? Because obviously, like, I feel some type of comfortability because you are what I like. But at the same time, too, like, same thing with being a pretty girl. Like, you know, a guy might look, oh, she's pretty as hell. Do you know what I mean? Like, she might be good, like, to take home. But, like, damn, like, she ain't got no substance. So, like, that's just a hand quit. So, I mean, every, like, you know.
With that being said, I thank you for humoring me with that last one.
It be like that.
I'm not saying you're
might be
right.
like she's attractive, but like I'm not gonna text sis today. I'll hit her up next week when I need something.
This has been one of the funniest installments of the Play No Games podcast / show. I'm Robert.
I'm Arthur.
I'm Yanique.
And before we go, I want you to lace the people with your socials and let them know how they can follow you and get a hold of you.
So, okay, so we got to get the government name real quick. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll do it. So it's going to be __ Yanique. So that's YANIQUEE. And you'll find me on Instagram.
And with that, it's Arthur Dixon. You can follow me at Chef Boyer Dixon on Instagram. And that has been the Play No Games podcast /show. And we out.
We out of here.
Peace.
Bye.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. Shit, I think they call them groupies now.